And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Tuesday, the 26th of May, 2026. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you had a good 3-day weekend. If you traveled, hope you traveled safe and you're where you are, where you want to be, and all that. Let me start out by saying the Knicks. My New York Knicks. In case you don't know, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before. My father, who passed away in the last year, was the diehard of diehard Knicks and Giants fan. Now, the Giants have given him Super Bowls. The two against New England, against Denver. Never satisfied, but had that. With the Knicks, nothing since 72-73. And I can tell you, when I would be visiting him, and there was a Knick game on, and I'm in one room, in the other room, I hear him yelling at the TV at the ref or whoever. Live and breathe the New York Knicks. And all I took my father's picture and placed it in front of the TV so we can watch. I have the picture right in front of me right now and the TV so he can watch the game, and I'm hoping he's looking down. Now, they are destroying whoever is put in front of them. They're still going to be the underdogs in the finals, either against Oklahoma City or San Antonio. But I have to tell you, as of this second, this team is world beaters. You know, there's something in athletics that basically goes like this. How is everybody playing together? And are they one unit? And that's what it looks like. And it looks like each and every one of them are just right on top of their game. And if one's not, the other is. And right now, they all are. So I am having fun. I don't know whether they're going to win the finals or not. Just to get here, we're thrilled. And the way they're doing it, we're thrilled. And again, I hope my dad is watching, and I know how you all feel. I have to tell you, I put it up on Twitter. I'm getting texts from people about how I got one text. I'm not going to mention who. You would know who it is, a famous person. My grandfather was blind later in life, and he would sit every afternoon or evening and listen to the Texas Rangers games, and they were horrible for years, but we loved them. He passed way before they won it all, but I figured he could see them for the first time looking down. Anyway, so interesting enough, the finals, not making this up, the worst seat in the house at Madison Square Garden looks about $3,500. Somebody paid courtside for 2 seats $279,000. No, not kidding. I'm deciding. My problem is that there's no way I'm going to sit in the worst seats. But even decent seats, like 10 G's. That's a lot of cake. Anyway, that is your, sports section of Investor's Edge. And in case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. We will do markets, the economy, your job, your industry, wars, tariffs, you name it, we'll cover it if it affects, and sometimes not affect. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. If you don't follow us on X, just go ahead and follow us. Put our name in. And if you'd like to email us, you just got to be nice. Just be nice. Just be nice. We'll respect you back. We'll never call you any names, ever. We'll disagree with you 100%. We'll never shout back at you unless you like Hamas. Then we got a problem. Speaking of that, we had this 3-day weekend. And we have to mention this because it really does affect markets and oil and stuff. And oil, I think, today dropped a few bucks. It was better earlier, I do believe, yeah. The story goes, I don't know. It's so weird. And by the way, this is not a put down. I'm just making a statement. The president said 40 different things in the last 3 days about what's going on. And then finally said something to the effect of, stop thinking about but he's the one out there saying all kinds of things. Anyway, as we know it, I don't think we know anything. You know why? Because they said we're going to have kumbaya and everything good, and we're going to do this, and then all of a sudden we're not, and then we're attacking them and they're attacking us. No, seriously. But oil prices came down. The Dow was down 120. It was down over 200. But that's nothing. That's meaningless. The semiconductor index. The strongest area of the market was up another 5.5%. Micron. Not making this up, by the way. Micron. An analyst changed his target on Micron from $535. And by the way, he was at $535. The stock closed Friday at $750. He changed it from $535 to $1625. No, not kidding. So the stock closed today at $895, up 144, 19%. No, not making it up. And the semiconductor index up 5.5%. And you just go through each semiconductor stock. I have found some semiconductor stocks with hardly any sales and lose a ton of money, and the stocks have gone vertical. Let's see, today, in semiconductor artificial intelligence land today, AMD up 36. Caterpillar up 28. Jabil up 15. These are all 3 to 9%. I guess Seagate up 33. Western Digital up 40. ARM Holdings up 15. Teradyne, which was weak because of their earnings, up 30. This is today. You had a company called Vicor Electronics raise their numbers up 24% today. That was on my watch list. Gapped it up. I can go on, but I'll just be repeating myself. The semiconductors are just strong as an ox. And as I told you, I traded them out a while ago. I am so PO'd at myself. I have no problem shaming myself to you on something like this. It actually makes me better going forward. I'm going to remember this the rest of my life. In that I gave up on a major move thinking I'm a genius. Oh, look how much money I made in a short period of time. Oh, it's too extended. Get out. Yeah, right. And it's turned into, and let me be clear about this, it's turned into 1999 for some semiconductors and AI names. I am not saying it's going to be the year 2000 next. The big top in destruction. I'm just letting you know some of these moves are 1999-ish. Just letting you know. And I must tell you, you never know when something like that's going to happen. It doesn't happen often. This one is pretty much for the record books. The trajectory of the NASDAQ 100, and I have a big piece of the NASDAQ 100, so I'll take that. but more importantly, the semiconductors just rates a big frickin' wow. But it's also, while other areas are being left for dead, there are some other areas that have come to the space stocks. And I guess they're saying, oh, that's because SpaceX and valuations. Okay. What up? Up next, the rest of the place. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Thanks for being with us today. All I can tell you, a big wow. Just a big wow. And let me state for the record, there's a bunch of areas in stocks that are nothing. I'd love to say it's a one-note market, but it's not, because the semis also has the artificial intelligence, and that's the optical data storage and all that crap. But some space stocks have been strong. The issue there is you got some real frothy speculation in there. I have to tell you that the truckers, we've been mentioning that to you. Airlines had a better day again today because of oil prices coming down, and we mentioned to you already, hey, Delta's near the highs, and Delta was up a few percent today. Would I ever buy an airline? No. But just letting you know, Delta's at a new yearly high. What else? Steel. I have to let you know that steel stocks went into new high ground today. Nucor Steel Dynamics. A few of those. Some banks are right there. Bank of New York, Morgan Stanley, some Canadian banks, that's strong. But after that, in financial land, nothing really even close. I do have State Street Bank and Northern Trust in the investment managers, and that's it. Restaurants, no. I got a couple insurance stocks. The consumer staples, no. And they actually went after the tobacco stocks today, and they've been strong. What else? Medicals, no. Medicals, no. How about drug stocks? No. The payroll companies were a little bit better, but they got hit hard today. Auto dealers, no. Autos, well, I must tell you, Ford mentioned something about something, and it sounded like AI, and it rifled up last week. I'll give it its due. Travel's a little bit better, but cruise lines are bouncing a little bit, but no. Hotels, I will say that they're trying to shape up. Casinos, no. Economically sensitive, I got a couple of names in there, but mostly no. Software, definitely better. And some real strong names in software, but still plenty of names. Terrible. China, no. Here's an area, and they're telling people it's artificial intelligence based. Solars. They're convincing people that the solars are part of the artificial intelligence. I won't argue the point. I'll just let you know, a couple of them are busting out to new highs. I'll give it that. In the Dow, Amgen, no. American Express, no. Boeing, no. Salesforce.com, no. Chevron breaking down, big oil. Home Depot near new yearly lows, no. IBM, no. JP Morgan, no. That's weak. You catch my drift? Because in a minute we'll go back to what's working. Johnson & Johnson, no. McDonald's, whoa, full. Microsoft, no. 3M, no. Nike, destroyed. These are all down names. Procter & Gamble's in a bear market. Sherwin-Williams, big bear market, anything housing related. Visa, no, with MasterCard. And Walmart, bad reaction to earnings. Gap down 3 days ago and still falling. And you know what that did to Costco? Costco had broken out and completely failed. In fact, Costco has kind of crumbled since that day. So there's plenty of areas not working, but what is working, just for the record, holy crap. And you would think somewhere along the line it's going to stop, sit. Well, it did that for 2 days, 2.5 days. And the semiconductors last week, I believe it was Tuesday, tagged my little green line on my charts, the 21-day moving average, the strong moving average. And I have news for you. The 21-day that day was 10,951 on the semiconductor index. 10,951. It's 12,876. That's in 4 days and the reversal day. What is that? 17, 18% in 4 days? For something that was already elevated? Wow. An outlier event that we have not seen in a very long time. And the number one question I'm asking, number one, it is for real. But is it going to be like 2000? Answer is, I have no freaking clue. We'll let the market decide. That's all. But leave no doubt, we're getting a little bit of, not one note, but a few notes. And today, they really showed their stuff today. Artificial intelligence, optical, data storage, memory, some hardware names also, leading the pack. And I think when I do my scans now, all I got to do is scan 150 or so names, plus Madison Square Garden. By the way, MSGS is Madison Square Garden stock, and that broke out to new high because of the Knicks. What else? Gold and silver bounced today, but no. Crypto, no. At all. Remember we told you that Ethereum really topped out badly? And Bitcoin, less of a top out, but we're going to keep it under the That's EH. But semis, all them artificial intelligence plays, steel, truckers, a smattering. Up next, what else we got for you? I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. I got 9 spam calls today. 9 spam calls today. 9 spam calls today. It never ends. It never ends. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you know how I tell you? This is actually on the important side. So there's this whole thing going on about artificial intelligence in your jobs. And I've been querying people in the know, kind of, okay, so what industries could be affected more than others and all that. And what have I told you about that? Become indispensable if you're working for others. Because you never know. You never know. I bring that up. Let me read something to you. John Schott, spelled Schott, a 40-year veteran of Walt Disney Company, is going to be the next president of Walt Disney World. Not all the parks, but Walt Disney World. I gather that's just the world. He's recently been president of Disney Signature Experience. Experience is the division that includes Disney Cruise Lines, Disney Vacation Club, Adventures of Disney, and Disney's Resort in Hawaii. His previous positions included president of Shanghai Disney Resort, the chief operating officer of Disneyland Paris, boy, he's been around, and executive managing director of Walt Disney Attractions Japan. Now, president of Walt Disney World, is that going to include all the parks here? I don't know. His first Disney job was in Florida as the skipper, or a skipper, of the Jungle Cruise at the Magic Kingdom. Huh? Well, you know what? I'm sorry, it's going to include all. Walt Disney World, which has 80,000 employees in the midst of expansion mode with new lands under construction at Disney's Hollywood Studios, Disney's Animal Kingdom, and Magic. So it includes all the parks here. 80,000 employees. He started as a skip. I've been on that Jungle Cruise many a times. Just so you know, I've been in Disney World 156 times in my life. I live in Central Florida. I've gone less to Disney living here than when I didn't live here. Think about that. He started out as a skipper, and now 80,000 employees will answer to him. And if you've ever been here, Disney World, Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, all that is huge. The Magic Kingdom. That's what we mean by indispensable. It should be obvious that Joe Schott was seen as indispensable, and he started as a skipper on the Jungle Cruise. Think about that. It's an amazing story. By the way, I think way back when, I forgot the person's name, who was running Walt Disney World for a while. This is maybe 15 years ago or something. Started out as a busboy at the Contemporary Resort at Disney World. Just letting you know. These are great stories. Magnificent stories. Remember them. Skipper of the Jungle Cruise. And I don't know if you understand how huge what he's going to be running now. And by the way, even before this, traveled the world. Paris, Japan, Hawaii. You know what? I got to meet this guy. I'm going to make sure I get to meet him. And you know what? I'm going to try and interview him. How did he get here? Wow. Anyway, I thought that was a good story for all, especially now, because all I hear is worry. And all I try to tell you, become indispensable. You know, there's all this talk about firings. I heard 8,000 at Meta, Facebook, then this, that, and the other thing. And I'm sure there are people there that should not be fired, and they're going to miss out. But I really do believe if you make yourself indispensable, they will think twice. Anyway, I wanted to go with that because when I love stories like that. They're remarkable stories. What else is going on in the news? Well, just call me confused. That's all. I'm very confused about all the news that's coming out on the war and where we are and what's going to happen. The good news is, regardless whatever the news was, oil prices came down. I think that's important. Why would they come down? Well, because they've had a big move up. And I think any potential good news is going to bring them down. And even though there was some warfare in the last day. We knocked out some crap. They knocked out some crap. So I don't know. I really don't know. Except the semiconductors and their surroundings. And by the way, I didn't realize this. The way it's set up, the Russell 2000 finished on a low on December 31st. It's up 17% this year now. 245, 45. Yeah. And interesting enough, at the end of March, it was down 4%. And by the way, 5 days ago, it was only up 9. We've gone straight up for 4 days. I sold it 2 weeks ago. I never have any luck with the small caps. 4 straight days. Why? 4 straight days of yields going down. They love lower yields. Them small caps. And mid caps, kind of, sort of also. Small caps stronger. Mid caps, little less so. S&P's up about 9 now this year. If I got that right. I think so. And the S&P, if I got that right, it's down about 9% on the year at the lows. We have not had more than 3 days down since the low. Why? Have no clue. Just a darn good market led by technology, where the indices are technology laden. Remember what we tell you. The S&P top 8 all technology, about 30 some odd percent. And of the NASDAQ 100, like 60 something percent. And guess what those names are? That be the story, kids. Any way you cover it. It's amazing look. Especially when I do my big scans and I go through 1,500 stocks and I'm like 1,000 of them look like crap. Anyway, you know where we stand. Tomorrow's another day. But I call it a big wow. Haven't seen this. I've seen them in meme stocks, the memes, and those type of things. Haven't seen them in big names in a long while. Up next, the froth. I'll explain in a second. This is the one only Investor's Edge. So, Broken Record Gary. This is Broken Record Gary time. So as the tech / AI is heated up, we've also had some heating up again of the froth, the speculation. We define that as companies with little or no sales. Little or no sales. Companies that lose a ton of money. Some of the companies have been public for years and still have little or no sales. But every now and then we get themes in the market. Themes. Simple themes. And what those themes do, they get going. And they get pounced on. And unfortunately, a certain percentage of Wall Street is all about, oh my God, it's moving, and not giving a crap about the company. I highlighted for you recently how an analyst or two have put no sales companies on their buy recommendations. Buy it. And they come up with some weird reasoning. Some weird reasoning. What kind of reasoning? I don't know. But it's weird. Some weird reasoning. And it irritates me. Why? Because of the rules. And that is, if nothing changes, and the company is still doing no business and has a lot of losses, when the music stops, those stocks crash. And we've already experienced it because back in September, while they were going nuclear to the upside, no pun intended, because some of the stocks are nuclear, we just said to you on this show, hey, I just want to let you know the froth is picked up. Be careful. And we used some poster children where they went to 30 billion in market cap with no sales, which means they had to buy it at 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 18, 20, 23, 25. 20. They bought it any price. And of course, a lot of them dropped 75% to the recent lows. 75. While analysts are talking them up, even though no sales. Well, just letting you know, they're at it again. And some of them are perking up. And unfortunately, we got the help of the government also, as they're taking positions in no sales companies, which pisses us off. And due to the fact there's been so much corrupt insider trading by insiders, we're not claiming the president, but whoever knows what's going on is doing it. And when the Dems win the House, they're going to be subpoenaing the crap out of those insiders. You know that's what's going to happen. Anyway, just be careful. We are not saying they're not going higher. We are not saying they're not going to soar. We're just telling you to be careful because if nothing changes, I don't care whether the government owns some. If nothing changes when the music stops, and what we mean by music stops is when they go out of favor, out of fashion. They're no longer cool. They usually go back to where they came from. And, I had somebody email, but Gary, the government invested in Intel and they're making a killing. Terrific. I got news for you. Intel has a lot of sales. There's a big difference. Intel does 50, 60 billion in sales. And they make money. And of course, whatever's going on with AI now has Intel rocking and rolling. But I'm differentiating for you. So just be careful. And they're in the same areas. They're in nuclear, quantum, which quantum got really hot in the last week because of the government. Rare earth, That boiled up. Drones, the cool stuff. Well, it's cool when they go up. It ain't cool when it goes down. And I repeat, if nothing changes, they will all go back to where they came from. Now, of course, some of them may end up with big deals and do great. I hope that's the case. But all I can tell you right now, as I go through every other day, takes me 5 minutes, nothing has changed. Still 0 and 0 and 0 and 0 for a lot of this stuff, especially in this rare earth stuff. Especially. And I'm looking at one that hit a high of 16 in October. It's 5 and change now. And boy, was it talked up. This is what I am talking about. So be careful. Here's one that hit 32 that's now 11. So again, just a little word to the wise. That's all. You catch my drift, right? And as you know, throughout the years, there's been a zillion of these things. And they get hot, you feel good, and then they crush. So just, again, and I just gave you the areas, and they can go higher. Not saying they won't. Just be careful. Now, the AI thing, all I know, at the close of the day today, it be working. Will that change? Don't know. Are there people putting out memos about how this, that, and it's going to crash? Absolutely. We'll watch the market. You can only crash if you go down and break the 21-day and then the 50-day and all that. That all said, you have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like I do. Simple. Make sure you hug your family, hug your children. They will feel better. You'll feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Have a great night, everybody. Good night.